What's up, guys? This your handy mechanic, ATL Frankie Baby. And over here, we do everything by trial and error, right? So today, this video is a car video. Yeah, we do other things, but today this video is a car video, right? This video gonna be unedited. I'm gonna try to get straight to the point. I'm not going through showing you videos about taking a car apart, putting the broken part back together, because we can find that online, and I'm gonna shout out the channel for what's going on with my car. So what's going on with my car? I have transmission problems. Car started to slip while I was driving. It buckled a couple times, then it went going reverse. Then after a minute, the reverse caught back in the car. I drove it home, blase blase. But at the end of the day, it's done lost massive power when driving, whether it's trying to catch the next gear or whatnot. But anyway, so check engine light come on, it's reading code P0700, which calls for the TCM. The TCM is the transmission control module. But as we know, a lot of times dealing with cars or anything in life, one problem may be causing another problem, you know. And the way I try to look at cars, and this is just a mental thing when I study cars, I use YouTube, I use the books, I use my own brain, but the way I look at cars, I feel like personally a lot of things in life is designed off the human body. When I look at the cars, I look at the car just like the human body, whether you're talking about the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, the things that filter things. You got the blood, the water in your body that help keep control of the heat, and you got to keep the blood cleansed, just like the motor oil and stuff like that. You know, these are different components: the heart, the brain, the computer. It's the when you look at stuff like that, it kind of helped me diagnose the car. So that's enough said. We're gonna get into the car real quick. Like I said, try to make this short because it's unedited. We're talking about the P0700 on the Chevy Cruze. All right, and give a shout out to the channels that help. That can help you break down what I'm about to talk about. The guy, I think he has two channels, World Mechanics, and also the other channel is called Auto Repair Guys. Okay, good guy. He works on Chevy Cruze. I think it's a manual though. I have an automatic. So we're gonna talk about the transmission. Let's get straight into it. Things that you're gonna have to take off that he probably didn't show in the video is what I had to take off was I had to disconnect my whole battery, all the computer components that's connected to the battery out. The battery cage that it sets in, had to take all the bolts and get that out. I had to take the piping from the throttle body. Anything that's laying over top of the transmission, I had to take it out. Because you can't get down in there and work, right? The throttle body pipe, I had to take it completely out. When I say out, I mean detach it from the bottom, which is up under the headlight, the whole base. The driver's side headlight had to come out. Let me rewind a little bit. You might make sure you got a couple jack stands. You need to get your car jacked up. You need to get the front wheel, the front driver's side wheel off the car. Make sure it's jacked up high enough that you can get up under it. You need the other jack stand to support the transmission, because when you take once you get the battery and stuff out the way, you're gonna need to take the motor mounts off the car as well. The motor mounts or the transmission mounts, you're gonna have to take them. So you're gonna need the other jack to keep that transmission in place from falling, right? Other things I had to take off, I had to remove the radiator hose, the front bumper. I had to take the passenger side of the air vent hose out too, which is kind of equivalent to the one on the driver's side. Down to up under the light. It's like basically empty hose, no liquid. I think it's just air hose. What made it for me The guy on the video, he took out his whole radiator. That's exactly why you can see straight through there. I didn't remove my whole radiator because you have to deal with taking the compressor off, which it has gas. That's too much work. But I did have to remove my electrical fan so I can have a little bit more wiggle room to work, right? So I had, in order for me to get the electrical fan out, I had to take the mounts that's near the top of the radiator. It has mounts. All them little fastenings and screws, you're gonna have to take them out so the radiator can actually fall and come off. And the radiator also has 2 mounts up on the bottom which holds it on as well, right? So I had to take those off so the radiator can fall a little bit. So it's basically just hanging by the pipe. All of that, moving all that gave me enough wiggle room to get the electrical fan turned sideways and pulled up out of there, right? So let's get to the nitty gritty now. There's just some things, don't let me forget, yeah, the pipe, the transmission lines, you're gonna have to remove them too, right? Before you do all of this, you definitely have to flood the transmission fluid out. Let the transmission fluid completely out the transmission, which is up under the bottom. So once we get down there, this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see this black box right here. It's gonna be like this. It's a plastic cover. 10mm screw head, 10 millimeters. You got about 12 of them. You're gonna have to get it out. You're gonna have some electrical wires. You take those out. Like I said, you'll see this in the video. Get this guy out. This is a gasket. Typically, when you change any kind of cover, they got a gasket. You go ahead and change the gas cover. Now you put this all back together and it start leaking. It's best to just change the gasket while you're doing the job. Now, like I said, it calls for the TCM, which is inside. The TCM is actually inside of the transmission. So once you take this off, you'll be able to get to the computer for the transmission, which looks like this right here. This is the computer, and this is the first part you're gonna take out, right? And these has bolts as well. I can't remember what size, but you can probably, I think it's like 7mm, 8mm. They got a few bolts you gotta take out. Use the other video for guidance. So this is the main part, but this is probably like a 500. This part right here is probably like a $500–600 part. We ain't talking about labor. We ain't talking about none of this extra. So before you go to fixing stuff like this, other problems lead to bigger problems, right? So these are solenoids. This is the solenoid pack. You got 7 solenoids that set in here, right? You got 6 regular solenoids. The one in the middle is the shift solenoid. Now, what I found, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but you always change smaller parts before you get to big parts. Solenoids, sensors, things like that, they normally go out, right? So, just for demonstration, I haven't got this video, I haven't got the card put together yet, and make sure it works, but I will make another short video letting you know if it did. Well, when I was going through the solenoids can stick. And they work off a magnetic pulse, right? It's almost like a ball bouncing back and forth, I guess, pulsating, letting fluid through as it pulsates. But it works off an electrical pulse every time the electricity hit, right? So as I was going through here, you know, they look very greasy and maybe probably sticky, nasty and sticky, right? Really dirty. So I cleaned them off. So I did the ohms reading test. The ohms reading test with the multimeter, like he showed in the video, they turned out kind of fine. For the most part, all of them had a decent reading. But when I did the electrical test, it didn't work so well. And I'm gonna show you. So these solenoids, when you add electricity to it, they supposed to pulsate, right? Let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm gonna pull one out. This is one of the regular ones. You're supposed to get, he said, get a 9-volt battery so you can check the pulsates, right? So what I realized, I'm assuming you're supposed to use like a a 12-volt battery. Maybe it's too much power for the solenoid, you know, direct power. So I got some alligator clippers, right, on a battery. So I know you can't see this through the camera lens, but I'm gonna go ahead and attach this, and then post it. You should be able to hear a click, almost like a tapping sound, right? You should hear a tapping sound when I touch, right? Nothing, absolutely nothing, right? Now, all it needs is a little power, just like enough battery, just like to turn on the light switch, and it's supposed to tap, right? So that's already a red flag. Why is it? It's sparking, but it's not tapping. You don't hear the click, and the click you're gonna hear is gonna be a little tap, right? So I'm gonna connect this to a 12-volt battery now, right? And the only reason why I'm just for demonstration, because I'm finna buy all new solenoids anyway. So now we got a 12-volt battery here, right? Got 12-volt battery. All right. Said I was gonna make this video short, but it seems like it's already getting a little long, but it's okay. So I don't know if you can hear this. I'm gonna try to be really quiet, but with this 12-volt battery, can you hear it clicking? Okay, that's what it's supposed to sound like when it's working. So you hear anything with me shaking it, right? This one of the regular solenoids. Now, based off it wouldn't work off the smaller battery, but the big battery, I don't know if it's working properly, because the little battery is supposed to give it the same power, right? But this solenoid right here, which is the main shift solenoid, the one that shifts, you hear that? When I shake it, it's loose. To me, that solenoid is already, the magnetic field in here is already broken. So I'm assuming this may be the problem, which they tell you to check the solenoids. Now, when I test this solenoid, I get absolutely nothing. Even when I test it on the big battery. Let's check it out. Even when I test it on the big battery. Alright. Nothing. No pulse, nothing. Getting a little spark, but no pulse, nothing. No clicks, no anything. I'm using the 12-volt battery, right? So we definitely know this is an issue. I'm not saying it's going to fix the transmission, but we're going to start here, because anything else in the transmission that's deeper in, dealing with the clutch or anything like that, oh, that's had to go to the shop. You already know. That's probably a rebuild or something like that, which is going to cost thousands of dollars. So these solenoids run about $100 for all seven. And while you in there, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, behind this solenoid pack with the TCM, transmission control module, you also have another sensor in there that sits behind the valve body. And it's this wire right here, which is one of the first wires you're going to disconnect when you first start digging off into this transmission. One of the first wires you're going to disconnect. But the thing about it is, it's set behind like 3 layers of bodies before you can even get it out. I advise, this is the speed sensor, transmission speed sensor. I advise while you in there, this only costs about $20 to go ahead and change this sensor where it works or not, go ahead and change it and put a new one in, because if this could be part of the problem, you do not want to do this over again. Trust me. So that's the speed sensor, and it sits behind the valve body. I'm gonna show you a picture of the valve body. This is a picture of the valve body right here, which is identical to the other part of the transmission that we just went over, the solenoid and the TCM, right? So pretty much that's it in a nutshell. I'm gonna come back with another video and let you know if this worked or not, but definitely changing the solenoid and the speed, transmission speed sensor, okay? Hopefully this helped give you a little bit more idea about taking what you're gonna have to take apart out of this car. It's really gritty. Of all the stuff you're gonna take out, just make sure you have plenty of tools, drills, to make it easier, small drills, small ratchet drills to get the bolts. There's a lot of bolts to take out. Make sure you label or either keep things in order so you can put it back in reverse order, all right? From here, we out. Thank y'all for taking a moment to look at the video. It's your boy ATL, Frankie Baby, Handy Mechanics. And like I said, over here, we do everything by trial and error. Peace.